What's going on, y'all? It's Greg. Greg said it. Y'all, we back with the inspiration motivation. One I've been waiting for, y'all. We talked earlier. We had a nice live. Talk about what happened with Shadeur. You know, it was a weird thing. People got all kinds of theories. But one thing is clear. They were unified on that thing. And the message was loud and clear. But it's one thing that I have something to say about. Because it's not new. This thing, you really pay attention to it, not just some kind of bandwagon, whatever. Or, you know, people kind of jump in and out, whatever's the hot story. But for people who really been covering this thing, like I have, for the last couple of years, since they've been in Colorado, I've been following since Jackson State, it's been a term that's been used a lot. It's not only been used with Coach Prime, but it's been used a lot in this last couple of years, and it's this word called humble. A lot of people want to see Coach Prime fail and his children because they say he's not humble. Whatever that means to them. I mean, I know Coach Prime, he does give glory to somebody other than himself, which don't quite correlate with humble, but they call him cocky, they call him arrogant, they called him that at Jackson State, so there's nothing new. And black people called him that for the racist people who believe everything is racism, or that this is racist motive, because I watched him go through identical situations with only black people at Jackson State. And they said he was arrogant, and they felt that he thought he was this and that, and they didn't want to really comply with what he was trying to do. And anytime you try to switch up stuff and anything, people resist, but especially when the deeper the tradition is. And I know he tried to challenge the tradition at Jackson State. He did. And the not bowl games, but the classics and stuff like that. He said, "You're not making no money, and why are you going and playing these other teams getting whooped?" And he just challenged a lot of things about how they handle their money and exposed some stuff. I see Ed Reed tried to do the same thing. They heard him ran him up down there. He didn't have enough clout, I guess, or whatever, different type of people. Coach Prime, man, he did a couple of years, and he barely made it up out of there. I mean, the whole SWAT was coming in on him because different reasons. But you couldn't use that race card, you know. But, you know, it's easy to throw that race card when the same exact mess happens. Let me tell you, these people said then and they said now. Two different skin colors, right? Two different places. He needs to be humble. I heard after the first season when he lost, and they lost those games, which I feel was rigged up for him to lose a lot of them, because he could have won more games than that. I said many times he could have been 75 at minimum, 8-4, really. And these people said after that season, and I did a video, and some ignorant people would get offended like they do with a title, and to whatever to even look at the video. They want to just, I don't know, that's their personal problem. But I've already explained what a title is and what it's based off of, which is based off of people's actual comments. And I did a video about, did they humble him or something? You go back and look at the history, right? And it had to do with it. People felt like he needed to be humble. And after his season didn't make it, he didn't make a bowl game, people questioned, would this humble him? Would this humble him? He came right back, and he did his thing, and they won. And you didn't hear that humble talk as much. But everybody seems to want to see him humble. And it went over to his children. They want to see Shadeur humble. Whatever that means, and I guess they're the humble police, whatever they got to do with them. Because I feel like, as I said earlier, if a person has a certain personality, that ain't my problem, whether it's good or bad. It's not my place to wish harm on somebody because I'm offended by their personality. I don't know them, they didn't to me, but I go around gloating and wishing that see them fail so they can be humble. As if I am not able to be humble. I'm above being humble. I mean, I find that a lot of the people who want to see them humble, I wonder who want to see them humble. I wonder what arrogant, they probably the most arrogant people themselves. Because I don't know how you so humble and you got time to worry about somebody else being humble. I don't think a humble person wants to wish anything. They don't have the time to, because a humble person is not other people focused. If anything, a humble person probably want the best for people. So they would never wish something happened bad for somebody just so they could be right. That's not a sign of humility. So it's interesting that everybody who say he need to be humble, what makes it that's their place? Who told them that was their job? And whoever told you that wishing harm on other people is a good thing? Like, If anything, you be religious, you say you pray for them, or whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, it's not a good trait. It's not a positive trait to wish failure or harm on somebody, especially if you don't want to wish it on yourself or your loved ones. That's just a basic principle in life. So my question is, what would that do? Again, I asked that before. What would that look like, and what would that do? Shadeur going to the 5th round, it makes absolutely no sense. It makes absolutely no sense at all from what he's produced, where he's come from. Yet, people say, yeah, he needed to be humbled. As if they're going to change. They tap dance, they praise dance, they did all that all over the place after when they going on about their business. At least on the outside, they going to let you see them sweat. Coach Prime going to go back and do his thing. I hope he don't give so much respect and glory to the NFL because they don't respect him. I don't know what it would do to edify somebody who don't edify you. It is a principle of do unto others, but at the same time, and NFL ain't driven by no God. They don't owe nothing to God. They don't claim to be. They make their own God. They compete with God on Sunday. So you can throw the God thing around. I don't see that being any relevance. I don't think God owes anything to the NFL either. Now, we talked about a whole lot of stuff. Y'all got to go back and check that live out. It was a very good live. It was an extended Greg Said It, classic Greg Said It live. I mean, we went over an hour and a half when really during this off season. I try to do about 30 minutes, but this is such a potent, such a thick conversation to have, especially this moment. I waited intentionally before everything to be over with. Yeah, I wanted to jump first day, but little did we know it was going to take 3. You just knew he wasn't going to go past the 2nd round. That would have been appalling, but they had something else in mind. They said 2nd and 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round. And then they just threw a bunch of the other ones in there because, they was following that trail right there. It was a big gap between Shadeur and Travis Hunter. And since when has that been the case? I mean, Shadeur was Travis's quarterback. So how do you get to the place where he is a 5th round guy, which he hasn't been all this time, and Travis is a 2nd pick? When they both have been said to be the top picks, really, for the last couple of years, even when they came over for the class. And they say this is a very weak quarterback class. Now, if last year quarterback wasn't weak, and most of them came out of the Pac-12, and statistic-wise, Shadeur led in most of those categories, even over those guys who went in the 1st round, like a Penix and a Bo Nix. How all of a sudden, a year later, his production didn't really drop off like that. It got better in a lot of ways. A year later, he's worth only being a 5th round pick in comparison to those guys whose data, his stats was very similar to. And it's not as many of those guys in this class, yet they found a way to take pretty much everybody else before him, for the most part. With the year he had. Golden Arm Award. You show me anybody else. What do they call it? Johnny Unitas Award. You show me anybody else who won that award and was only worthy of going to 5th round. That doesn't make no sense. And the slap in the face is he just got his jersey retired as one of the best buffs ever. And they can say the best buff ever got a 5th round pick. They really made their message clear, like I said earlier, that nobody's above the shield. That's the saying I've been hearing over and over again. They wanted to show Coach Prime and his family that you're going to be part of this system. You're going to comply, whatever that means. And I got a lot of theories. There's a lot of conspiracy theories on how NFL roll and throwing games, and it ain't about talent. I mean, it's the same as in the entertainment industry, right? So, they have to kind of measure you out and make sure you loyal. And when you kind of free spirit and you look like you're going a different route and you're doing things so different, they're not as accepting. I mean, we see that in politics. We see that in everything. It's like you got to go by the system. Some people call it the good old boy system. They want to kind of lean on race. Yet you see some good old boys look just like you in it. Then what you call them? Are you happy with them when they saying what you think they're supposed to say? But they still in that system. It's interesting. 2 different people that look the same, do 2 different things, and you gonna hate on one of them because they don't fit that narrative. That reminds me a lot of Coach Prime. It's beyond a look, clearly. Because a lot of people that look like Shadeur went through that before him. And it happens every year. But maybe they play by some different rules. Maybe they are more compliant. Or maybe they appear more compliant. Maybe they're less of a threat. Maybe they feel like I got a little more leverage on them, but I can't leverage you the same because your dad over there. So when I say I'm going to humble you, I got to let you know what I can do to you. So you won't ever think you can overrule me. And that's whether it's a team, a coach, an organization, right? Or the NFL as a whole. And clearly they all were in on it. Clearly they all said nobody gonna touch him. They go get the most garbage, most suspect quarterback nowhere near your caliber before you. I'm making a message. So is this humility that we're looking at? Or is this, I'm sending a message to you? Because I don't think his personality going to change. It ain't changed this far. And he definitely not that fragile where he's going to submit like that. Now, I don't know to what level or degree you submit, but we're going to see how things change. And we're going to see is this humiliation of this young man stop at the draft, which I sincerely doubt. I don't know what kind of shot these people finna give him. They just kind of clap like whatever. They got him behind 4 of the quarterbacks. He got a huge hill to climb in a garbage organization. That's the gift they gave him. Oh, he had to go to the NFL. He went to a garbage team. Even he was the first pick. It was an uphill climb. I don't even think his dad ever even wanted to go there. I think that was one of the things he didn't want to go. But they said, we're going to show you. And we're going to dog him while we at it. Y'all, be careful what you applaud. I've talked about this before. Because it might be your turn next. You think it's okay when it's your enemy. Or somebody you made an enemy you don't even know. You jealous of. You wish harm to. You better be careful. Because when your day come, when your family member, your children come, don't have nothing to say. You ain't got nothing to say, really. Because you in allegiance with the forces of evil. You in allegiance with destruction of another man. You are not exempt. You're not exempt. You applauding another man's demise and failure. I don't care who he is. Okay, you may got a problem with him, but you better be careful on whose side and what side you getting on. So I don't think you want to cash that check. But people are willing to do that. And they are willing to do it over ignorance at that. Bold-faced ignorance. You ignorant of one, what you playing with? Which is a whole lot of fire. Fire that'll burn you real good. Gotta be careful, y'all. All this emotionalism, get your mind right. Get your mind right. They say you be on the wrong side of history. What history? What is the right side of history? It's certain principles you know. I'm going to tell you one. Do unto others that you want done to you. If you don't want it done to you, you don't wish that crap on your worst enemy. Don't be no hypocrite. But that's just me, y'all. Greg said it. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, comment. Especially if you want the truth. If you don't want it, you got other places to go. I'll talk to you soon.